It is every person's responsibility, especially those community leaders, to be sending out that information so that everyone has the choice to make on whether they want to engage.
As an organisation, we need support from other people in the community to make this work.
Hi, welcome to Changing Suits. My name's Bal.
And my name's Taj.
On this week's episode, we're changing it up. Every month, we're going to be doing an episode with me and Taj, because we have had listeners who's saying the start of this podcast was sometimes, not sometimes, it was about what our thoughts were, and perhaps that may have got lost. So we want to bring it back to the old days, right, Taj? The old days?
Yeah, it's good to know that people actually want to hear what we're talking about.
I don't know why, my thoughts really aren't that important. There's nothing much going on in there. But anyway, I'm only kidding. There is.
Is it like, the tumbleweed? What is it? Tumbleweed? In good old cowboy movies.
Yeah. Tumbleweed. That's basically what's going on in my head. Anyway, okay. So this week we want to start off the monthly Bal and Taj podcast with our thoughts on how much support and collaboration we as a community really give each other. Because as you know, we have been doing a number of projects within the community, and it has been an eye-opener even for us as to the support we're getting and whether we need to, as a community, celebrate certain things and also say, well, actually we need to start pulling our finger out, because if we want good things to happen to us as a community, then we need to be supporting each other. You can see where my thoughts on this whole thing are going, right? Have I been a bit biased, Taj?
No, because we've spoken to people that have been in similar situations. I think we're being very cryptic. Let's just go for it.
Go on then. So, do it. Go for it.
So basically, as an organisation, we need support from other people in the community to make this work. And without having that support and the volunteers, our organisation would not be able to exist. Although we're the founders of Changing Suits, we need to work as a community to make that bigger move and move in the directions that we need to. So we found that we're speaking to a lot of people in the community, and there's one thing that's being shown as in to our face, and we know that they're not meaning what they're basically saying. Now, I don't know if this comes to just try to make someone happy and then try to fob them off, or is there's vindictive things going on in the background, as in we don't want you to succeed. Now, the reason why I say this as well, the second thing, is because we've spoken to people similar, or in our similar situation, that are going through the same experience where they're not getting support, or they're getting the lip work but not getting that support. So it's not just us. I don't think we're being oversensitive. This is actually happening in the community, and it's really hurtful.
I think, let's give an example, Taj. Come on. So anyone that has done this, then we'll know that we are talking about them without names. No, we won't really be talking about exact. No, go for it, Taj. What are we talking about?
I don't think we should reveal names, because I don't.
No, we won't be revealing names. But give me an example of what you're talking about.
So we had certain people that have said, yes, we'll support you with this. We'll turn up to your events, and we don't need to force anyone to do it. If they don't want to do it, that's hands up to them. You don't need to support us if you don't want to. We're not here to force you. We want to help the communities, the South Asian communities. So on our faces, they're smiling, saying yes, doing all the lip service, but behind closed doors, and we know what's going on, because you can tell when there's a fake smile and the fake lies of, hey, we're going to help you. We know what the background is. You're just saying it and not going to deliver. And this is happening quite a lot. Now, it might sound like we're being a bit bitchy.
We are.
I don't think there's a bitchy element. I think because
let me, on that point, I agree. I don't think it's a bitchy element. The fact that we're doing on a podcast, I mean, one of the reasons that we started this podcast was very much giving our opinions and thoughts, and this is one of our opinions and thoughts. So anyone that thinks, oh, actually, that is a bit bitchy, let's change that. It's not bitchy, it's disappointment. I think that's the biggest thing that I'm finding. I am disappointed in certain things that are happening, and it's not needed. I mean, for example, we are doing free events, whether it's, you know, the face-to-face events, the wellbeing workshops, whether it's the fears that we the health fears that we're doing, whether it's the online discussion groups or even the podcast. These are all free things. And the aim of the organization, I think this is something that's really important to put out there. The purpose of Changing Suits is to break down cultural barriers for the South Asian community. Now, the disappointment comes into it where it's a case of, well, if we're doing this, we are genuinely, openly saying, look, listen to our thoughts and give us your thoughts and opinions. I've been quite open on the podcast where perhaps I've done something wrong, and I have said, look, in the past I have done this, but now you've said that, that's something that I need to be careful of, whether it's my language, whether it's, you know, talking about things to people about my opinion, and my opinion's wrong. We are all learning, and I think that's something we as a community need to be open to. We need to continue learning and understanding that we need to raise awareness about things that can be hurtful. Perhaps we aren't going through it, which is why we don't realize that it's hurtful, but people that are finding it really hard. And if we don't support them, that's our downfall as a community.
So one of the things that do come across is people start certain. This is not a blanket statement for everyone that's supporting us, because there's so many
Oh
people that are
yeah,
supporting us, and
definitely.
they've been amazing. Like, oh my God, amazing.
Mm,
And some people, we wouldn't have expected them to support us, but they've been with us 100%, and they've absolutely, we can't thank them enough. But
mm,
then you've got smaller, I would say, you know, when they say mud sticks, and then the horrible things kind of pay in your on your mind more than the nicer things, and it outweighs it. I think that's the situation in this scenario, basically, where we have loads of people that are helping, but those few people that are pretending to help is more sticking to in our minds, to be honest.
do you,
Um,
but then that's not, human nature though, isn't it? I mean, you
yeah.
tend to, the negativity ends up sticking in your mind. Let's what we will do, and let's talk about this, because obviously we do want to talk about collaboration, right? And we'll talk about the positives that we've heard from people, but let's just cover this off. All the negative stuff, let's get it out there, let's get it out of our system, and then we are going to talk about how brilliant the community has been as well straight after that.
So the first thing I would say is these certain people are questioning our motives of doing what we're doing. So Belle, actually, you start off. Why have we started Changing Suits, and why are you investing time into this?
Well, the start of Changing Suits, as we know, was the podcast, and I'm always quite open with the fact that we did the podcast for we are sisters. We did it as a bit of a gossip session because personally we were going through things, and we are well aware that a lot of the community is going through the same thing. So why not put it out there? So yes, it was our gossip sessions between ourselves, then put public. But as we've grown, we've realized from the supporters saying, you know what you're doing is fantastic. You're talking about subjects that are hard to talk about, and you know, and sometimes it is a bit. You know, I think the compliments have been like, "Oh, really? You're, like, this is actually something," which is really nice that people are saying it. But we'll talk about that a bit later. Um, and the growth of this is the fact that we do have professional experience where we can talk to service providers that can provide the support, because the support is out there. And we are trying to break that barrier of, if you need that support, firstly, have that awareness that you need that support, and then go find out and seek those people that can help you, because those people are out there. And we're sort of the go between, as you know, saying, well, these are your services that can help you, and these are the people that need the help. And as we know from the South Asian community, I mean, I think when you live in a silo community, and we are unfortunately in a bit of a silo where we tend to hang out with other South Asians, and, you know, we all know what we're all going through, which is a normal thing. You don't realize there's a world out there. And that's what we're trying to open our own eyes about, but also at the same time, open the community's eyes about. So, from our part, I think it's a value thing. I think as I've grown up, I've realized that having a positive effect on someone else's life gives me a more, I know this sounds so cheesy, this is where the cheese comes in, I feel happier with what I'm doing now than I was before, um, because I know the people that we're helping is having a really important effect in their lives. Okay, that's the end of my speech. Go on, Tad, your turn.
So I'm going to add to that, and I'm going to say the reason why I wanted to do this on a personal level is because I'm a certain years old now, and I think
I
I've
love how
done.
you said, I'm a certain years old. How many certain years old are you, Tad? Do you have to use a calculator to figure out how old you are? Because I'm starting
To
to
be
forget that.
honest, sometimes I need to ask my children how old I am
Yeah,
because
okay.
I forget because I'm going backwards like how my mum used to. I remember when she hit 35, her years started going backwards,
Yeah,
and
she's
that's how.
21 now, mum
So
is.
I'm 42 years old,
Yeah.
and I'm proud with
Anyway,
my white hairs. Anyway,
go back to
because
what
I'm
we were
going
supposed
off
to
to
be
a
talking about.
tangent.
There we are, yeah.
So I'm thinking, okay, I need to almost leave a legacy for my children to think, okay, my mother done something with her life, make a difference. Make we complain about, oh, this thing needs to happen, that thing needs to happen. We're always looking for others to do it, and I think with you as well about now it's a case of no, we need to stop looking to others, and we need to be the one that does it and make that change. And that's part of why we started off changing suits, because we need to say, okay, oh, so not so and so didn't do it, it's me that needs to go and do it. I need to make the change. And hopefully if people see that I can do it, I'm not anything amazing, but maybe it will make other people think, okay, well, if she can do it, maybe I can do it as well. So hopefully we're creating almost like a domino effect that other people say, right, I'm going to make the change in whatever it is. Because I've found as we have been growing, people have been coming to us and talking about the issues that they've had in their lives. For example, about domestic abuse issues, about learning difficulties and the difficulties that they're going through and the challenges that they're going through. So opening up these doors, people are feeling comfortable to come to us and say, okay, maybe we should set up this, maybe we should do that. So we're hopefully opening avenues with changing suits for people to make changes. But bringing it back to the negative thing that we were talking about, there are people that almost stand in the way and don't want you to escalate for whatever reason. I have no reason. I don't understand why there is this barrier of trying to stop us from growing as an organization. Could it be jealousy? I don't know. Because there's nothing to be jealous about, because you can be part of changing suits. Because although me and Bao are the founders, we want changing suits is about the whole South Asian community and working together.
The other thing that I find really interesting and is when we started off, this was going to be a platform between yourself ourselves, but we were looking at issues that women were going through. But for us to create the change, we are well aware that men need to be involved in this change as well. And men are going through things that me and you won't understand because we haven't gone through them. And so it's really important that we do hear the views of everybody. So the other question I'd put out there is, why is it that we're having, for example, with the wellbeing workshops, um, why is it that we're having more women approach us? Is it because we're women, or is there something else as to?
I think it is because men think that it's a woman's thing to look after your well-being, and they're seeing the two of us, and they're seeing other women come to the workshop, so they're thinking it's just a women's thing. Because to be honest, we've had men come to our events, but we haven't had women coming. Oh, sorry, men coming to our well-being workshops. I don't know, but let's change this a bit. So we talked about people that come and speak to us and give us the lip work of, yeah, we're going to help you. Why haven't we ever got the guts to turn around and say, actually, I know you're lying, mate?
Oh dear.
Why? Let's go deeper. Let's stop doing the whole, let's stop feeling sorry for ourselves, and let's investigate why.
Because, well, I know me, I'm a bit of a pleaser, so that would be one awkward conversation, which obviously it shouldn't be because the other person should be ashamed of themselves. But I'm actually embarrassed for that person. I'm embarrassed that they're bullshitting me. And I'm like, oh God, please don't do this because I know you're lying. You know that I know that you're lying. So just leave it. I
I
mean,
mean,
one thing I do. Okay, I do have a bee in my bonnet about one thing actually. One thing I do hate is that lip service, and I don't need anyone to congratulate me. I don't need anyone to say, well done, give me a pat on the back. What I do like is saying, do you know what? This is really helping me. That I like hearing that. I don't like people bullshitting me and saying, oh no, you're doing a good job, and then turning around and stabbing me in the back. I hate that. It's an embarrassment for everybody. Um, but if I'm proud of something and I find it really awkward saying, look, I've done a good job here, right? And I do find it quite hard. Um, but if someone doesn't reciprocate and say, well, actually, no, you should be really proud of yourself, but instead then turns around and says, oh no, I was too busy to, watch that BBC documentary, then I think it's a bit of a slap in the face because I was really proud of us getting there um, and doing that. And especially, the story of Vic and Serena is such an important story. We should be supporting them. Um, and so when I have people say that, and then that really grates on me because I've had the courage, and I will say that, to say, look, I'm proud of what I've done there, because I won't say it very often. So that's one thing that I don't like.
I do agree. You don't big yourself up enough, to be honest. And but I think that's a Asian thing.
Yeah.
Like one thing I'm going to touch on. I think quite a lot of South Asian parents say this. What is they do this themselves? Maybe because their parents done it. As in, if someone bullshits them, they'll just accept it and then just be like, it doesn't matter. What is it saying? Ek chop sosok. So
Yeah.
let just people get on with it. It doesn't matter if they're knifing me in the back. It doesn't matter. It's okay. It's okay. I'll forgive them. And we do that as well. And it's the thing is, we saw our parents do it. We are kind of being a little bit more vocal and saying, actually, it's happening, but we're still not facing it. So are we doing the domino effect? Oh, I'm using this domino effect quite a lot. Are we saying to our children, it's okay for that to happen to you as well? Let people do the pretense and just accept it. Because that
I know
is what we
this,
are doing.
but do you know what? I think it's really interesting because I don't think it isn't everyone in our generation. I think this is a unique, it's not unique actually. I think it's a generational shift straight after our generation, because I'm finding that perhaps our generation is a bit more quiet and we don't, if someone hurts us, we don't really say anything. But the next generation down from us, and not a massive difference, maybe what, 2 3 years after us, I think there is that openness. Not, firstly, they don't, people don't care about what other people say or think, which there's a positive and negative of that. I think um, firstly, you're protected, which can only be a good thing, right? But obviously the negative is, well, if you don't really care about anyone else, then I think that's a really bad place for our community to be. But I don't think, I think we're in a unique generation where we did that. I think the next one down is a bit more vocal about what they think. What
So
do you
do you
reckon?
think they'll be like, no, you're lying. Stop lying to me.
I don't know. I just don't know.
I
What
wish I had the guts to say, no, I know you're lying to me. Stop lying. Because then the person will turn around and say, no, I'm not. And what can you say to that? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I find it really awkward. I just can't do it. And we can pretend that we can, but this is a personality flaw in us, I think, in the fact that we can't say it. But anyway, one thing we are encouraging with any of the work that we're doing is collaboration. And I think that's something, the people that get it have really got it. And those are the people that I really appreciate, that have understood what we're trying to get here. And that's along not only within the South Asian community, but also outside of the South Asian community. Um, I think at the start of the work that we've been doing, everyone finds it a bit hard to understand, are they being genuine? Should we be supporting them? And hopefully we've got to a place where certain parts of the community do say, yeah, actually, I think they may well be doing this for the right reasons, and they are helping us. I mean, we had one event where, people were saying, yeah, we need more events like this and more support groups and things. And they were literally looking at us when they were saying it, and that's it's a big responsibility. And I appreciate the fact that those people have looked to us at a bit of a time in need, and given us that responsibility, and we appreciate it, and we want to hopefully be able to live up to that responsibility. But also outside of the South Asian community, we've had such a good response from service providers, who really do want to work with the South Asian community. So we need to be open to letting them in as well, and saying, yeah, look, I need this. Can you give me the support here? Or tell them where you know what support you need, because sometimes they don't get it. What do you reckon, Taj?
No, I do agree. But I'm going to now change it into another
Do
pace.
you know what? I love how you said, yeah, I do agree. Anyway, so I'm going to talk about this. Go on, carry on.
So, okay, do we put too much weighting on community leaders, and are they actually leaders? Because do they divulge, can't say the word, the
Yeah.
information back to the community that they're meant to be leading? Or do they keep it to themselves and be like, I am the leader, nothing can go past me?
I think with community leaders, I mean, let's be fair, everyone's just people, right? We've all got our own emotions and thoughts. So to keep the power, I think some people do find that they don't want to pass on that information. And the sad thing is, it tends to be the people that aren't community leaders are the ones that need that support even more than, I'm sure, more than the community leaders. But the fact that that information isn't being passed down is hurting a whole community, and that's the sad thing, because we know, and we've had discussions about the fact that there's people suffering all because that information is not getting passed to them.
I mean, is there such thing as a community leader? Do we actually look up to someone and say, hey, you're a community leader, I expect you to pass on that information to you? Or does that not exist and it's outside the community where people think that we've got leaders? Because I don't personally think I listen to any community leader.
But you do, because you'll still know those people that are in the positions that they're in, and they will have, I don't know, their WhatsApp groups, they'll have their social media, that we've had to send it to them and say, look, can you pass this on to your community?
I suppose so. Yeah.
So that is a community leader essentially, right?
Mm.
Someone that can disseminate that information,
But then why do you think they're not giving that information?
because that might be a threat to their power.
Yeah, which is really sad because then they're holding on to something that could potentially save someone's life.
And this is the thing, some of the topics that we are covering is things that can cause a lot of stress and anxiety and depression if they are not getting the support. So these are serious issues. It's not, sometimes we have a laugh on this podcast, which is, great. I always like enjoying. So yeah, I mean, yeah, so some of these topics are really important, and we do need to put that support out there, because like I said earlier, sometimes we don't realize what is playing on those people's minds. We've spoken about what fertility at one point, divorce. These are not small subjects. And if we can give that support to someone, it is every person's responsibility, especially those community leaders, to be sending out that information so that everyone has the choice, their own choice, to make on whether they want to engage.
So people, for example, that we've been speaking to that are in a similar position as us also have expressed that they've had people almost like a copycat thing, where they've had people coming and to their organization, seeing things that they do and then literally copy what they're doing. What is your view on that?
So we've had this discussion, and I think initially we were a bit angry, but then if we step back, is that not a good thing?
That we were angry? I
No.
don't know.
No, a good thing that people are taking up the reins and saying, well, actually, I want to discuss this topic. I think it's a fantastic thing now. If someone has a passion for a subject that we talk about, and they, say to us, look, firstly, we're there for the support. We're happy to give you support. What we don't like is, oh, let's do it behind their back. And I don't like that. We
But then
will,
isn't that ego saying that, why is it behind your back? It's a free world. I can set up my own thing.
fine, perfect, do it. Lovely. And actually, no, you're right. You're right. You don't need our support, but we're happy to give our support in any of these cases. And if someone has the courage to do something, excellent. It can only be a positive thing. If there's a topic that you're passionate about because you're going through it, and that tends to be the ones where we are most passionate because we're going through it ourselves, or we know someone that's going through it. Take it up. Make a difference in other people's lives, because we cover a whole range of topics. So if you want to take up one topic, do it. Fantastic. And that's a learning curve for us as well, because I think we need to, all organizations need to understand we don't have a monopoly over a specific topic. So we should be encouraging others to talk about this.
See, I think that is true. We should encourage other people to go out there, because we're not going to, for example, if we're doing it in a project in a certain area, we're not going to get everyone in that area. Like they say, there's plenty of efficiency for everyone. But wouldn't it be good, again, collaboration, that we joined forces and thought, okay, let's see how you're doing it. Let's see how we're doing it. You might do it in a slightly different way. We can work together.
Yeah.
But there's almost that let's create an enemy kind of thing that goes on.
Yeah.
And that's what causes problems in the community.
Do you,
That's what causes politics in the community.
well, we've all got our own ways of doing things, which is fine. Yeah, no, I agree. I think if we then have a quick meeting of saying, look, I'm not trying to piss you off, and we're not trying, vice versa, then that's literally all you need. I mean, we've had this situation ourselves, haven't we?
Yeah.
Where, people in the community have tried to pit us against another person. And it's like, well, we're not trying to compete. So work with us, not against us. And to be fair, in that situation, the feeling was reciprocated, which was great. If it's not reciprocated, that's fine. Then we are in competition. I mean, I can't be bothered because I've got better things to do. But yeah, we need to make a positive out of these situations. But do you want to say anything else on this before I move on to let's talk about the positives?
No, because I'm a very negative person. So let's
go for it.
So there's a lot of politics in the South Asian community, and obviously there's divides in the South Asian community, but within those divides there's loads of politics as well. Why is there so much politics going on everywhere when we're all trying to go for the same direction?
Because
What is this about?
I feel like you're asking me the questions. I'm like, oh,
Yeah, I'm the host. You're
you
the
are the
guest
host.
today.
I think that people think that there's not enough pickings out there, but trust me, with 2 out of 3 people from the British South Asians saying that they've got mental health problems, for example, there's plenty of help that needs to be had. So there isn't just one organisation that can do this. There's plenty of people that need the help.
But why do we feel as individuals that we need to do better than the other person and put the other person down?
I think there's nothing wrong with trying to do better than another person. What I don't agree with is that second part of putting someone else down. I think that's where the issue is. I think healthy competition is probably good. I mean, that can only mean we're bettering ourselves and the next person's then bettering themselves. So that's a good thing. If you're then stamping on someone else's head whilst you're doing that, I don't agree with that. But yes, we know in business that is what happens. Unfortunately, it is. But I don't know. You tell me. Let's turn this around. What do you think, Taj?
So I think it's disgusting when there's backstabbing going on. I really think it's such a waste of energy. And I would like to know why people have so much time to waste energy, because I really do not. There's so many things to do in the day, and it really
But
does.
we've got enough time to record a podcast on it, which is great.
That's because I think it's almost a way for us to say there's other people that are going through this as well. We're not alone. Because once this starts happening, once you get the backstabbing, your world starts turning smaller, where you only start trusting certain people and you won't trust others because of you being backstabbed, or there's this falsehood going on when someone speaks to you. And it really does make you put your back up a bit, because you're like, oh God, I know you're lying. How many other people are lying? And that's a horrible way of looking at things, because there are so many good people in the world.
Do you think this is something specific to the South Asian community, though?
No, because it happens everywhere. It's happening in wider politics as well, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. Now
But I
can we?
feel that it's a specialist subject in the South Asian community.
Well, we all know it happens. Well, then, okay, let me turn this around. I feel like I'm trying to pull out the positive, and you're like, no, we need to go back.
All right, come on, let's make this positive.
So, one thing that I have found nice is nice is a really bland word. One thing I love is the fact that we have had a lot of people saying, the ones that do use our services, that they well, they found the support really helpful at a time when they really need it, and the fact that we aren't openly discussing it, which is obviously why we've done this. But there's been a bit of a camaraderie between women, I found, and us. Obviously, we want the same thing, because we want more men to come forward and say, look, we want to support you, because this has to be involve every part of the community. But I feel like that's been a change. So the ones that want to help, um, you know how they always say, oh, women are always trying to step on each other's shoulders, and I don't think that's true. I think we've had a lot of positivity from a lot of women. So I think we need to really identify that that is happening. Of course we have, and some people haven't popped in our head, and they think we're stupid enough to believe what they're saying when we know it's not true. But we've had the opposite of, well, actually people are seeing the positives, and that's really nice. So we're seeing stuff on social media. And by the way, if you see our post, please do post something positive, because as you can see, we've spent a large part of this podcast looking at the negatives, even though it is very few and far between people that are doing it and saying things and acting the way they're acting. And we've had a lot more positivity. We need to drown out the negativity, people. So if you see a post, like it and do share it, because genuinely you don't know if a certain subject, whether it's any of the podcasts or any of the online discussions, is actually going to affect someone else's lives, because like we said, we don't openly discuss it, so we don't know if that is something someone's going through. I mean, we had the menopause taboo talk discussion group last week, and one thing, like I said, I don't like ramming too much of what we're doing in people's faces, just in case they think, oh, okay, keeps bloody putting it on the WhatsApp group. But I did have one of my friends saying, oh, she really wanted to join that menopause one because she's going through it. And I was like, damn it. And I really I was a bit annoyed with myself and not sending it out in that case. So, yeah, we never know who needs the help.
It's a fine balance. You're right. So, like we were saying, that we've had so much positivity where people have said, can we work together and set things up? So we've got quite a few projects down the line that are coming because volunteers have said, let's do this, let's do that. And we're guided by our volunteers, which is amazing. And the other day, I woke up to a message on our Instagram, and it was a private message that we did put actually on our social media, saying how.
By the way, when there's positive messages, if we're going to put it on our social media, we always ask you whether we can repost, and the person said yes. We don't just do it just like that. So don't be scared in sending us private messages. Oh, sorry, Taj.
So, and they just said how much they were enjoying listening to the podcast. And I thought, wow. Sometimes you don't think anyone's listening, but when you get a message like that,
yeah, it's true. We think we're the only ones that are listening to that. That's why the numbers are so high when we look back at the stats. And I'm like, bloody hell, we've listened to this a lot of times. Sorry, go on.
But just having positivity makes us happy and makes us want to carry on. Where everyone's human at the end of the day.
We're needy people. We are needy people. Just say yes, this is brilliant to us. Come on, everyone. No, sorry, go on, Karatash.
No, but this is human nature. You carry on. It's like being back at school. If your teacher likes your work, you're like, yeah, I've done well. And if they put red pens, actually, they're not using red pens.
They're not. I know that, yeah.
Purple, aren't they now?
Yeah.
Green, purple, or something like that. I still use red on my kids' ones. I don't care what they're doing now. If you're rubbish, you're rubbish. I'm only joking.
That's not nice. See, that's the problem. People like you, Taj.
I don't ever do that. But yeah, we all go back to this childhood state where we're like, we want a pat on our back.
And well, that's this is social media. But it's social media. This is the whole thing of but how do we break through that? That's so interesting because, I mean, we weren't planning to talk about that, but that's the whole premise of social media, right? Like we all wait for those likes and those comments, which is what I've asked for to all our listeners. Please send a comment and likes because it does make a difference. But how do we change that? Because we
Yeah, but if we don't have the comments and likes, then we don't know people are listening or we're making a change. Because if we're not making a change, then we're wasting time. And that's the whole point of doing
oh, that's very deep.
having changing suits, is making a change to people's lives. If we're not doing that, then we should move on, and I should start reading a book and not just York Notes.
Now
Yeah,
that would be
right.
a change. That would be a change for your lifetime, isn't it?
Yeah, right. That's not happening. But anyway.
So can we? Okay, let's talk about our volunteers because, like you said right at the start of this podcast, you know, the growth of this organisation could not have happened without the volunteers that have given their time um, to helping us achieve what we have as part of Changing Suits. And you know, a few weeks ago it was Volunteers Week, and we did put a post out there and said a thank you to the volunteers. Actually, you did something really nice for one of your volunteers last week, didn't you?
Oh, it was her 21st birthday, and we had, from the organisation, we gave her some presents, and we gave her a birthday cake as well. I will actually put that up, and it was really nice. Everyone that attended the workshop really liked it and just appreciated that we were doing it. Something happy to celebrate.
And that volunteer's been absolutely fantastic. So it was such a small thing for us to do, to sort of say thank you. And by the way, happy birthday. But genuinely, you know, if there is anyone that wants to volunteer and help the organisation, if you've got something that you're passionate about, please do get in touch and we'll see how we can help you. Because we need to break through these bloody taboos. And that's the point. If we don't openly discuss it, then we are stuck in a bit of a rut as the South Asian community. But the point of this podcast, I know it's been a lot of moaning on our part because we have gone through things over the last few weeks which has grained on us and has played a bit of a negative, given us a bit of a negative vibe that has been upsetting for both me and Taj. But we are here to support the community, and even the people that are haters, you gotta hate, you know, change your ways, change your bloody ways. And we are open to having those discussions. Taj, is there anything that you want to add as a final thought?
Yeah, let's stop working against each other, because we're making each other's worlds very small when we're doing that. The more we work together, the bigger we can grow and the stronger we can grow. And for our own mental health, doesn't it make you feel better when you're like being nice to each other? I don't understand why we need to be horrible to each other. I really do not. We're not here for that long on this planet, so let's enjoy our time.
So I think that's a nice little wrap up there. So let's summarize for the listeners. Please do add to our social media positive comments. We love positivity. Anyone that has negativity, please don't contact us. We're not interested. We are there for feedback. So if there is something that you were offended by or you didn't think we were right in how we said it, please do let us know. We're happy to, you know, we all make mistakes. And we are, the point of that organization is to learn, and we will adapt with that. But if your negative feedback is just down to an ego thing, then don't contact us. We're not interested. But the lovers out there, keep on loving, keep on supporting, keep on engaging, because we really, that energy that you're giving is so important for us, and we do hope to grow it even more with your help. I think I just added a whole speech there. I was trying to stop it there, Taj. Sorry about that. I always take over. You do the final speech, Taj. Go on, take over.
I don't like doing the final one. That's why I leave it to you. It might be because I'm a bit lazy.
Okay, okay. I don't think that's true, but okay. Do you think we need to explore that? Anyway, we'll do that on another podcast for next month. We will do it next month. We will now every month explore Taj's personality. So,
Oh, God.
so thank you very much for listening. We've had our moan. We hope that it has had a bit of an understanding. We want to collaborate with you guys. So support us so we can support you. That's goodbye from me.
And that's goodbye from me.
Follow us on Instagram and Facebook, changing_suits, and subscribe so you never miss an episode.